Hi, welcome to my video on review 2 of absolute value function. In the previous video was review 1. I did 2 reviews because they were too long, and as a result, I didn't want you to have too long to write each review, treating it as a quiz. And again, it's treated as a quiz to mark this one out of 30, and when you get your total score, you put it over 30, divide, you get a decimal, and you move your decimal 2 places to the right to get a percent. So let's do the next 3 pages. Don't forget to pause your video and work each one of these out first and give yourself a score. Find the y-intercept of this absolute value. And the y-intercept is when you let x equals 0 in your equation. Because the y-intercept is where the graph cuts the y-intercept cuts the y-axis, and that's when x is equal to 0. Where it cuts the y-axis, x is equal to 0. Simplify the absolute value, negative 15. And the absolute value of negative 15 is 15. We multiply first as a fraction, so 5 into 15 goes 3, gives us 9 minus 10, and we have a negative 1. 1 mark. If you have, again, the y-intercept is where it cuts the y-axis and the x-coordinate is 0. How do you find the x-intercept? We'll find the x-intercept by letting y equal 0, because when a graph cuts the x-axis, then the y-coordinate is 0. So we put a 0 in the place of y, and we solve. Now I have 2 choices. I just do the 2 of them. One way is just, we can flip the whole equation around, like this. Flip the right side to the left and the left side to the right, and then we can move to 7, make it positive, and do the negative or the positive. Notice the equal 7 is here twice, that's the negative one, and the positive one. Negative x minus 3 equals 7. Negative x equals 7 plus 3. Negative x equals 10. Divide by negative 1, x is equal to negative 10. And we don't change, so x plus 3 equals 7. X equals 7 minus 3. X is 4. So you got 2 answers. We got each of these answers. You give yourself 2 marks. And the function notation is one of the videos that we did earlier. And this is f of x. So that means that this is the f of x. That means x is equal to negative 5 over 6. So we sub the negative, absolute value, symbol, be careful, negative 5 over 6 minus 1/3 plus, now I did this one deliberately with some fractions to review fractions. So, negative 3/5. Now we do the inside the brackets first by PEMDAS, inside the absolute value symbol. Okay, so we have negative 5 over 6, the common denominator for 6 and 3 is 6, so I put a 6 here. So 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6, so that gives us a negative 3 over 5, absolute value of 6 is the common denominator. So negative 5 subtract 2 is negative 7. Okay, do 1 step at a time. Now we'll do the absolute value. The absolute value of a negative 7 over 6 is positive 7 over 6. And now we're going to multiply. Multiplying fractions, I try to cancel. So 3 into negative 3 goes negative 1. 3 into 6 goes 2. So that gives me a negative 7 over 10 plus 2 over 15. And let's go up here. Common denominator for 10 and 15 is 30, LCD. So, 10 into 30 goes 3. 3 times negative 7 is a negative 21. 30 times 2, so 2 times 2 is 4. 15 and 30 goes 2. 2 times 2 is 4. Common denominator is 30. And we get a negative 17. And we have 4 marks. So if you get this one right here, you get a mark. And if you get, let's see, the absolute value done correctly, you get a mark. If you simplify to right here, you get a mark. There's 3 marks. And if you get, that's a, did I say negative 17? Okay, hold on. I wrote a negative 117 there. Negative 17, you get a mark. 4 marks altogether. 1 if you simplify the inside, 1 for the absolute value, 1 for multiplying these together correctly, and 1 for adding correctly. 4 marks. Number 4, the h of x equals the absolute value of x minus 7. The h of x equals 4. Notice the h of x is here twice, therefore x minus 7 equals 4. They're both by transitive property. That means the negative fx minus 7 is equal to 4, or the positive of x minus 7, there's a 7 there, equals 4. Negative times x is negative x. Negative times 7 is plus 7. Negative x is 4 minus 7. Negative x is negative 3. Divide by negative 1. X is 3. And x minus 7 equals 4. X equals 4 plus 7. X is 11. So if you have a 3 or 11, and 11, give yourself 2 marks. And if you subbed in, you could check. Just take the 3, check very quickly. 3 minus 7 is negative 4. Absolute value of negative 4 is a 4. Put 11 in. 11 minus 7 is 4. Absolute value of 4 is 4. So 2 marks. Total up your page is out of 9. Okay. And it says graph y is less than 1/3 the absolute value of x plus 1 minus 2. So to graph this, I'm going to use the vertex. And the vertex is opposite of plus 1 is a minus 1 minus 2. And we have a slope. I'm going to say is the vertical stretch is 1/3. So I'm going to plot that. The vertex is x is negative 1, y is negative 2, right here. The slope is 1/3, so up 1, right 3. Up 1, right 3. If you go that way, let's go this way. Up 1, left 3. Up 1, left 3. So somewhere here. And I take my ruler. Now, I got to be careful. I got my vertex done. The vertex is a negative 1, negative 2. I got the slope done. But this is less than, no equal sign. So that means I'm going to draw this, but the boundary line is broken because there's no equal sign, so I do dash. There's no solid line here because there's no equal sign. And I do a dash on this side. And let's say, if I can see it right, here we go. Close, you know what I'm talking about, main thing. So now next step is that it's less than. Greater than is above, less than is below. So we come down. So all these points down here satisfy this inequality. And if you got the vertex, you got a mark. If you got the slope, you got a mark. If you're if you're going up, you got a mark when you graph it. If you shade it below, you got a mark. And if you checked it, you got a mark. So 5 marks altogether. You got your slope opening up, and you got your broken line or your boundary is also a mark. So 5 marks altogether. And if you want to check it, check this point. Check the point 0, 0. 0, 0 is not in this shading. So put 0 in for y, less than 1/3 absolute value. Remember, 0 0 is a good point to check if it's not passing through. So 0 is less than. 0 plus 1 is 1. Absolute value of 1 is 1. 1/3 times 1 is 1/3 minus 2. 0 is less than. And that's 1/3. So 1/3 subtract 3 over 1. So that's a 6. So that's a negative 5 over 3. And that's a no. So that means we can't shade here. We're shading. So the shading is done. Okay. Number 6. State the inequality representing the graph. So let's reverse it. Let's see what the vertex is. The vertex is 1, 1, 2, 3. The vertex is 1, 3. So that means we have the equation or inequality is the vertex is x plus, that's a plus, so we have to use a minus, opposite. Make that a minus 1 and a plus 3. So that's a 1. So the equation got an x minus 1. And what's the slope? So we're going from one good point. So that's a good point here. Where's another good point? But the other good point is right here. So that means we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. So the slope is 4 over 3. And the slope is the a value. And notice, even though I went down, I could go down 4 right 3. I could go down 4 left 3. Notice this is a positive slope. And this is a negative slope. But the slope, because the slope of either one of these lines is a plus and a minus, 4 over 3. But because it's opening downward, this is going down, this is a negative. And now, is it greater than? It's an equal to, because it's solid, and we're shaded above. And so that's a greater than. So 5 marks, putting that all together, and the marks are assigned. We have to get the vertex, we have to get the slope, we have to get the solid, we have to get the greater than, and we have to get the negative in the equation. So put all this equation together. Excuse me, there it is. We got 5 marks. And again, because this is solid, so it's an equal sign. Because we're what? Going above, it's a greater than. And this is going downward. So that's why the negative is here. It's reflected in the x-axis. Okay, let's continue. Last page. And don't forget to pause the video. Which one is the solution to the absolute value of x is less than 3? Notice less than. So it can't be equal sign. So it can't be this one or this one because it got equal to. So less than is greater than is an or. Less than is in between. So the answer is C. Right here. And besides, look at this. If you take this one, 4, you put a 4 in here. If you take part of this answer, x is greater than 3, put a 4 in. Absolute value of 4 is greater than 3, no, so it can't be that one. So it must be this one. So it must be the numbers between negative 3 and 3. Take a 0, put a 0 in. Absolute value of 0 is 0. 0 is less than 3, true. So less than is an and in between. Greater than would be one of these two, an or. Give yourself a mark. Solve this inequality and express it in the interval notation. So we get the negative of x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 2. Greater than is an or. And the positive of x minus 4 greater than or equal to 2. Again, notice this is greater than or equal to, goes here in each one. This is the negative and this is the positive. Negative x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 2. Negative x is greater than or equal to 2 minus 4. Negative x is greater than or equal to negative 2. Divide by negative 1. X dividing by negative, the greater than becomes a less than. And Negative divided by negative is positive. And x minus 4 is greater than or equal to 2. X is greater than or equal to 2 plus 4. X is greater than or equal to 6. So the solution, x is less than or equal to 2, or x is greater than or equal to 6. But the interval notation, I'll do right here. This is less than, so it's equal to, so it's a solid 2 going to the left, negative infinity. And as an or, and we're going, again, it's an equal sign, so it's a square bar, 6 going to infinity. So if you have these two correct, give yourself, so you get a mark for that and a mark for that one. And you get 2 marks for this, 4 marks altogether. And the 9th question here, solve for x. And before we do that, we have to simplify. So negative 3 after the value of x plus 2. And the square root of 9 is 3, greater than or equal to. Negative 1/6 to the negative 1 that's the same as, the negative flips it around, so it's a negative 6 over 1, which is negative 6. So that's a negative 6. The negative exponent flips the fraction around. And now we continue to isolate the absolute value. Minus becomes a plus. Negative 3 when you add. Divide each side by negative 3. And we divide by negatives, it becomes a less than 1. Negative divided by negative is positive. And so we have the negative of x plus 2 is less than 1. And less than is an and. It's going to be between two numbers. The positive. Negative 1 times x, negative 1 times 2. Negative x is less than 1 plus 2. Negative x is less than 3. Divide by negative 1. Divided by negative, greater than negative 3. X plus 2 is less than 1. X is less than 1 minus 2. Good. And as an and just to illustrate, we have a negative 3 and we have a negative 1. So it's greater than negative 3. Notice there's no equal sign, so it's a hollow dot going to the right. Less than a negative 1 is a hollow dot going to the left. And the overlapping and is the intersection between the two if you graph both. So the answer is negative 3, negative 1. X is the value is in between. And notice this is a less than. So negative 3 is less than x is less than negative 1. No equal sign. And if you want the interval, there's an open bracket, negative 3, comma, open bracket, negative 1. Open means that it's not equal to. When you have square bracket is equal to. When you have an open bracket like this, it's not equal to. And that's 11 points. Add up your score, mark it out of 11. And when you get it finished, go back, total up each page, put it over 30, convert it to a decimal, move your decimal 2 places to the right, and get your percentage. Hopefully you got 100%. And that's the final video for absolute value function. Brings us to the end of the unit. And if you like my video, click the like button, subscribe button, and visit my math website, www.mathfullyexplained.com, to find more information about me, my video, and the content. That's the content of my YouTube channel called Math Fully Explained. Thank you for viewing my video. Bye-bye.